Certainly. Hello, guys. Good to see you all, and thank you so much for tuning in today. This is a session that I personally was looking forward to from Parth. But before that, I would like to set some context. As you all know, that Investor Publisher Connect is one of the flagship programs that we do from India GDC. I have been volunteering that for quite some time. Before that, I've been volunteering for multiple things in IGDC, but this is a program which is quite close to my heart personally, because I'm a founder myself. I've been trying to raise money. I have raised, I've talked to so many investors in the past, and one of the few of the challenges that I see is a lot of founders find it difficult to, crack that code, or rather, work with investors on multiple fronts. So that's when we thought, we should have a session around that. And who else we could even think of? Parth has been successful in doing this. So we brought him in, and he would quickly cover about, and he has a different approach to this. He wanted it to be very interactive. So there might be a few slides, and then obviously we're going to open up for the group. People can ask questions, and please raise your hand. We will try to cover as many as questions that we can during the course once he finishes slideshow. Not and this is for this series. This is the first masterclass that we have. After this, next week we would have another session on preparing a pitch deck, and then. And the following that, we would have another session on the legal side of things, covering on the SHAs and forming companies and so on and so forth. So over to you, Parth. You might. I thought you could do your introduction better than me. So please go on.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Imtiaz. Thank you, Sucharita. So I think first of all, I would like to say that you guys are doing brilliant stuff with IGDC and all of these sessions. I just remember a couple of years back when I started this entire, stuff around communities and fundraising and all. None of this existed. Like I used to travel a lot for the global events, but never saw stuff like what you guys are doing. It did not exist, and I think this is a big advantage for people who are starting up now, or folks who are on this call. So yeah, I think let's get started. So just a disclaimer, like I have put it across that I'm not an expert, but still learning like every day, but managed to put up some learnings of mine which I could share with folks, and see that if it could make difference to your lives. Let me know if you guys can see my screen. Is it come up?
Yes, we can see it.
Perfect. So yeah, let's address the elephant in the room. It's fundraising. I think let me start with who am I and why are we here, right? So I started my gaming journey about, as a gamer, always enjoyed the social side of gaming. So used to hang out in these gaming parlors, near my house, and my mom used to send somebody to that place to bring me back. Just immediately after school, used to go there. So I always enjoyed the social side of gaming. The easiest thing I started with was hyper casual games, building HTML5, H5, Coco Studio types in 2012-13. I felt that that is something I can do individually without needing a team, and then that got me, into the rabbit hole. And since then, it's been a journey. It's been about more than 8 years, in fact, if I total it. But looked at like different genres in gaming, looked at hyper casual, esports, RMG, strategy from different, capacities. Not as a developer directly, but maybe like building a platform, building companies around it. So prior to Stan, I ran an RMG platform, which was Evor Games, and scaled it about for 3.5 years. Had a decent exit from that, and then started building Stan. There was certain angles around why to do Stan. So Stan has been something which I've been working on from 2022 with an incredible team based in Bangalore. So and we're talking about the fundraise. Just managed, like I put that we've managed to raise about like more than $6.5 million, and do from some marquee investors across the globe. So this is what is about me, and we can have certain questions. You can find me in Bangalore if any of you are based in Bangalore. So before I start, I think there is certain my battery. Let me just get a charger. MacBook charger. Yeah. So yeah. So let me know when again fundraising can feel like a battle, right? So this is something which I wanted to start with. I think now that folks are here, like you guys are here, I think either you want to start with this battle or you are already into it. We can get into the depth of how your battle is going on, but more or less it is tough. It is unpredictable, and you need to keep improvising. It is something which I think I have been through, and a lot of you will be going through. So I think just keep that warrior thing alive, and then get started. So that's something, the sentiment which I wanted to start off with. So yeah, let's address the boring stuff. I think you can find this information on Google as well, but I still wanted to have this part of the slide so that at least for people who don't know about it, so you can have different ways how you can raise capital. So some of these are mentioned on the screen. Bootstrapping, which is a phenomenal way. I think if you are looking at raising, you should have a thought around why bootstrap and why fundraise. I think that's the first question one should address. A lot of companies don't even require fundraise, but I believe if you are here, then you would want to know how I can raise capital. So angel is usually the first category which people jump into. Obviously, we want to know what all choices we have, but I like this choice a lot. I think this is something which I have started with, and what I have loved in angels category is these are the people who have either been operators, these are the people who've either raised capital in the past. So these are the early believers which will really value you, which will really value your vision. And these are the guys who would be, let's say, the starting point of that Spider-Man web. That's how I like to believe that honeycomb, like these guys can be that nucleus of your fundraise. So because they have network, I mean, you need to be very picky about who these angels should be in your fundraising journey. I remember in 2018ish, I messed up a lot with angels. I mean, I just took random capital. I just took like 30 lakhs, 40 lakhs from people who I knew in my town in Meerut. And I just felt that capital aa jayega, so I can just keep growing it from there. But no, I think you need to be very cognizant about the fact, yeah, who am I raising from? Whether this guy is value beyond the money, or is this just money, right? If it's just money, it's also decent at times that you can plan to exit that person. But I love this category, to be honest. So getting some good angels, keeping some room for the angels in your round is something very exciting, and it helps you build your further rounds as well. Venture capital is pretty obvious choice. I think VCs are the biggest the category which deploys a lot of fund, and you would find these VCs across these events and in platforms like LinkedIn and Network. And typically venture capital, they look at exits in, let's say, a 6 to 10 years timeline. They would come in maybe very early, like some of the VCs are very early stage. We've got some of them as well, like Eximius Ventures and Lumica. You know a couple of VCs which are operating in the Indian market. Publisher deals pretty exciting for the gaming market. I think a lot of publishers have started building tempo in this space, and I'm really excited, and I'm really happy to see that happening in the Indian market. The likes of Krafton, Nazara, they are doing some phenomenal stuff to get some of the startups, those early stage capital to kind of boost your journey and growth. And then you have certain accelerator funds, incubation centers, ways to do crowdfunding, which is probably not the very best, but at times it helps. I mean, it helps to add up the quantum or something, right? So be very particular about who you want to typically go ahead with. But the usual template is start with angels, get some early stage VCs, then late stage VCs. If you look at, there are certain strategic angles to your growth, definitely bring a publisher deal in, and plan your journey. So that's about different ways. Probably there might be a couple of more, but these are the obvious choices which I feel we go through, right? Yeah, so this is something very, very important. A lot of people come to me and say that, Parth, can I, like, should I be raising? I had the same question. I might have the same question down the line, but I think uh, if anybody can answer this question, is you yourself. Ki when does it matter? When should I raise? Right? How is very important, but when is very, very, very important. I think there are a lot of factors which come into the play when timing is the factor, right? So, I mean, typically you would see that there are founders who would like to build an MVP and then try and test the waters. If it works, then look at raising capital. That's the best way. I mean, if you have enough capital to try the market, you would not want to dilute your capital, your cap table. So I think that's some important thing which I would like to bring up is whenever you are raising, you are giving a part of your company, right? So I think these are some obvious things you already know. So be cognizant कि यार मुझे capital चाहिए कि नहीं चाहिए, whether I need it or not, whether I need it now or later. So it starts with pre-seed at times. Lot of investors you will find in this category. Some of them are smart to grab you in like the early days. I have been a victim of that, and and it has been a gift for me as well, that some people come very early and try that, hey, I want to put the early check in your company. You would want to make that choice. Then there comes like a scale when you think there's a product market fit. You would definitely have a larger round coming in from idea stage to MVP to PMF to scaled PMF, like scaled product market fit. I think these are the journeys, and you would have different set of investors coming in. So timing is definitely a key thing to look at. Yeah. So I think a lot of you would keep talking about the best elevator pitch if you Google it and a lot of that and stuff. But my learning has been instead of explaining what you are doing, which almost 100%, 99% people do, I think the main better thing is to do key why it matters. I think that if you crack, if you like start with that, people really fall into it. People really get excited. I think the elevator pitch came with the definition of it. Somebody was telling me that the guy was actually in an elevator and it takes about like half a minute or so, 30 seconds to go from one floor to the other. And during that time, there is an investor in the elevator, and you are about to tell him what you're doing. So I think this, I also messed it up. I also started with telling ki, hey, I'm building this and this is how it will do it. This is how it will solve. I have my team. No, you have to start with why it matters. If there is depth into it, people really enjoy. So crafting a killer pitch is fundamental to getting people excited, because at the end of the day, you are selling. When you are selling, you need to be that, first line of that salesman has to be very important. Ki yaar, I really enjoyed that movie Rocket Singh, and that guy is told to sell that pen, and how he sells it with with his lines and stuff. I think that comes out well. The story, I think that point I have mentioned in the slide is कहानी बहुत जरूरी है, because you would find the best founders, best entrepreneurs who have raised enormous capital or scaled businesses are storytellers. Steve Jobs, biggest example, that how he would sell his product. I think that's something which is fundamental, how you create that story. Some of the stories are even made up. I mean, I have known people who have made up stories. So just feel free to do that, until and unless you have like, you should have like a strong backing to support that story. And how you get that uniqueness coming out of it is very important. Why should somebody really think that you are that person, or what you're building is something which is pretty incredible? Highlight the opportunity, how much money, how are you making money in this, because at the end of the day, it is a business. And talk about the team. So a short summary I have put down here. These are mainly the 5 points I feel which have always been a best pitch. So I think to give you an example, whenever I'm at these events or whenever I'm sending a blurb about, what Stan is or what Parth is, I try to cover these 3-5 things in that message, because ये इसमें मतलब सब cover हो जाता है कि the main points to get somebody interested and stuff. So this is very important. Behind every successful pitch is foundation of solid numbers that inspire confidence. So numbers, guys, I think very early 2012, 13, 15 days, I never got engrossed with numbers. In fact, I hated numbers. I think maybe some of you or maybe many of you here listening to me might hate numbers, but at the end of the day, we are building business. I have started loving numbers from past 5-6 years, I would believe now, and Excels don't overwhelm me. I really get into the depth of what exactly is happening. After all, it is business, right? So investors really feel that does this guy understand even what he's building, and what kind of business is this, what kind of market it is, how we are going to make money. So all the businesses have different sort of KPIs, which is key performance indexes, and there are typically daily active users, monthly active users, retention, monetization. You can track like crazy amount of numbers. I think in fact at Stan also we have like the very first thing which I did at Stan, which I did not do in my previous companies, is get strength with the data, like get that feedback coming out of the system so that I myself is aware what is happening. And then I can obviously look at what is working, what's not working, and then present it to the investors. And what they really look at is scale. I mean, investors coming in would value if these numbers are working at scale. I mean, to give you an example, if somebody comes and says, hey, 100 people love it. I think for a D2C of a B2C company, it's not scale. You need to show if it's 100, it's being loved by 100, how can I show millions of people loving this product? Community love, which is the next point, which I really feel is absolutely important, because it actually tells that what is the NPS of your product, what kind of impact it is bringing, and this is where you will start getting your validation also, in fact, because validation helps you become confident, and confidence brings the best pitch out of you. So try to get that community love, because you will have those best sleeps in the night ki yaar maza aa gaya kal, last update which I sent, last build which we published came out to be really amazing and people are enjoying it. Competition is key. So ultimately you are capturing the market, you are trying to get a piece of the market, so you would want to know who are the others who have a share of market. Investors would want to hear that, and some of these competitor benchmarking actually helps you raise as well. A lot of times in the early days I felt here I should tell that I am the only one in the market, but I think at times they really don't understand here the existing players are making business, are making money. If I come in, I can make a difference and try to capture a share of market, and then how can I become the biggest guy in the market? Though that sort of trajectory is something which we want to paint in this entire story, right? So all these are very crucial pieces, because you would not get somebody excited until and unless the business is coming out of the product. I have people in the team who really look at just the product and not talk business, but I think the day you keep tying these two together, you will really start valuing it. And I think being in a gaming industry, most of us are very creative. Most of us look at let's just skip monetization and just look at how my users are liking it. I think that's also fine, if until and unless you are able to get either the timeshare or the wallet share of the gamer, you are sorted, right? So one of these two can also definitely help. So investors want to look at all of that in a place, right? So and numbers should make sense. I have messed up as well in my past. Like I have just brought everything in a Excel and looked at it, and I felt it's amazing. But I think getting people to review it at times, what is actually the case, what is my lifetime value, what is my CAC, how are what kind of revenue streams I am sitting at today. I think bunch of learnings here. One is that at realistic, being realistic and being imaginary, I think it has to be a fusion of both. When you are realistic right now, you know what's happening and what can happen, but imaginary world helps you paint those big, ideas and projections down the line. I can add this revenue stream as well. I can, start increasing my average revenue per users like this. And planning your entire thing, like whenever somebody asks for a data room, I've not covered in this slide, but while I'm talking, I started feeling that that data room probably like covers how is, my last 6 months, how I'm planning the next 1 year. If you don't have 1 year horizon, at least have a 6 months. In stages, mature stages, people like to see 3 years plan as well. In that plan, you need to put like, how am I spending my money, how I'm going to spend, where am I going to spend the money, how I'm going to earn it back, what kind of revenue streams are these, and everything and anything about the business. So, and then if you are looking at growth, fast growth, which traditionally the VCs really like, you might as well be maybe burning certain money. So you need to evaluate your runway, like how much am I left with, what kind of next round I would want to build, when would I want to raise next, when do I look at profitability. All of those things probably are part of the data and the numbers, which really make sense. I mean, this is actually where I think first set of rejections, I would come to rejections later, but first set of no would be coming when the elevator pitch is wrong. Second no would come when they meet you and see that probably there's not much confidence in the team to build it. Third no comes at the data stage, at this stage, where you might see certain blockers in the data. And I would want to bring up that a lot of investors are amazing. They give you that feedback that, hey, you are lacking here. Can you make a difference here? Are you tracking this? Are you, maybe sometimes they see what we don't see. So I think those feedback, those pitches really add value to us. So numbers, I think, guys, numbers is very much the thing. And this is something which I've built in like myself as that culture to adapt to business and quarter on quarter, month on month sort of things, because all that is what matters, right? Yeah. So talking about the money, I think there's a lot more than just capital which investors can give you. They are more than your backers. So how can you leverage that? How can you become, make them the biggest fans? I think this is my favorite slide because it has worked amazing for me. Getting those best partners, getting those best people together to hang out with is something which is very important. The second point, I did not like the word hype when I was typing it, but I still put it there because a lot of people use that word, that keep the hype alive. Progress is progress. I mean, and what I have done is getting those monthly updates, quarterly updates to investors. That works like a charm. I mean, that has helped me also raise. They just start seeing that, hey, this guy promised something, he's delivering. This guy keeps sending real monthly updates. It's not just about sharing the data. It's about, let's imagine that if you are an investor, put yourself in their shoes. If let's say they're sitting in a dinner table with a bunch of other investors, and they've invested in you, and suddenly your update comes, or maybe your update came last night or in the morning, and they start, and somebody brings up this conversation that, hey, I'm looking at investing in gaming. What do you think, that who is the right guy? And then this guy says that, hey, Stan is doing amazing. They are like sending updates, they are growing month on month, they are this and that. So I think that is something which builds the tempo as well. So work for me, work for a lot of people there. So, and when you send that update, when you talk about your product and company, just be real, because truth sells the best, right? You will find it difficult to sell all the false stuff, but you have to be passionate, you have to be real in what you're selling. Don't be a robot. I brought that importantly because I would like to, tell you that I was working at JP Morgan. I worked there for about 3.5 years, and in the large scale organizations, it becomes more robotic. I've seen that. I don't know if it's with others as well, but when I was there, like people were just talking robotic stuff, like वो जो template है, ये A B C D बोलना है, ऐसे बोलना है, ऐसे बोलना है. But I think it's not something which sells now. All of you would agree, right? So being passionate, being real is something which has helped. And right fit, I think this is something which in the early days we lacked. Like I told you, I messed up as well, others mess up as well. So it is important. So get them to love you, and just see how the flywheel effect comes in. This is something which I learned in very early days. This is a favorite quote from my dad. He did not manage to build his net worth through network, but he wanted me to do, and I have really felt that it is something which is important. So get people to know you, get people, talk to people, learn from people, meeting these people through these events. I keep going to Gamescom, GDC, and a lot of stuff. Obviously, so at times it's pretty costly and stuff, but sometimes it is an investment to do. IGDC is a great event to be part of, building your network. LinkedIn is a part of network. This community is amazing. Even your city, like I am in Bangalore HSR layout. I like to meet founders in HSR layout. Not necessarily they have to be gaming founders, they have to have raised capital, but everybody has their own journey of learning. So I like to be part of it, and I like to understand what is happening. This is a plain vanilla slide. I did not put colors into it because this is what is important, guys. This is really, really important. The word with P, persistence. I think this is a Gyan slide. I hate giving Gyan to people, but it is important. It is mad. I think if you're not persistent enough, please don't raise. Please don't build a business, because business starts with persistence. There, especially in the industry we are, there is so much happening around the clock. There is a lot of industry trends which keep changing. So how do I adapt to that? How do I build that flexibility in myself, in my team, in my products, getting to stay resilient about it? And all of this is something which I think nobody can teach us. It is something which comes in ourselves. Getting those 10 hours grind every day, or maybe 5 hours, 6 hours, whatever works for you, and being persistent. And I think what my favorite quote, which I did not put in the slide, is we underestimate what we can achieve in 10 years, and we overestimate what we can achieve in 1 year. It's something which is a common quote, but it is very, very true. It is something which I have been passionate about. So living one day at a time, being persistent and enjoying. I think the journey has to be enjoyed, otherwise it becomes so painful. I've had those painful days where I have sat alone in the office, and I was always thinking, yeah, why did I do? And all those questions will come there. And just having fun is important. Just sharing a meme, or sharing some fun moment in the office with the team, I think brings out amazing dopamine for the investors and the founders. And I think that's something which has worked. Yeah, so this is an important slide. The blue color says get set go. I mean, just have positivity. Rejections are okay. I think there was one guy in my office. He came up with a funny quote. He said when he reached college and wanted to have a girlfriend, the simple approach he took was just propose to every girl in the college. So that's not the right way, but rejections are okay. I think just treat it like ki maybe unko nahi pata, maybe he knows his shit, maybe I am not right, maybe he's not the right guy for me. I think I have taken rejections like mad in the early days. I have felt so bad कि यार इतना बढ़िया पिच हुआ, इतना अच्छा चीज दिखाया, इसने मना क्यों कर दिया, इसने रिप्लाई क्यों नहीं किया, why has this guy ghosted me? It's fine. I mean, this is like how life is, and just don't feel sad and give up. Though rejection, 200 rejections are also fine. I mean, people have seen that, and you will always hear founders saying this. So just go about it, right? So yeah, just is one slide out of the blue which I put. If any of you are building in games, in gaming, which I think most of you would be, please try to leverage 10. This is one slide. Probably I wanted to put the heading key leverage Stan, but we're doing something great for games which probably want to raise capital or want access to distribution. So if you are in that cohort, please reach out. Yeah, this is about whatever I had. Maybe try to put up as much as I can. Opening to questions if anybody has.
I have one question regarding the Stan.
Yeah,
So I just want
sure. Let me
like
explain. It's in one liner in my elevator page. It is a gamers hangout platform. People, gamers come and hang out. They chat in and they connect in this most popular format called Stan Clubs, which is like an audio chat room where they can keep their mics on and they can play any game outside Stan. It's sort of a replacement to Discord, because it has a lot of other things which mobile gaming industry or mobile driven geographies need. So Stan, you would find it on the Play Store and App Store. Gamers hang out and play. Yeah, it's more than Discord. So my favorite acronym which I use is CRF. Gamers love content, rewards, and friendship. I think most of you would align to that. That has been my learning in the past, and like content can be a game, content can be a video around gaming or anything or any conversation around it. Rewards can be anything, not necessarily real money, but can be like redeem codes, vouchers, or maybe like leaderboard prize and stuff. And that is not what we built till now, but maybe down the line.
if I
Maybe
want
we
to
yeah, totally aligned. I think that is an interesting point which I can talk to my team. But at this point of time, we don't have our SDK or APIs exposed to that, but we can probably look at putting it in the games as well. Web3 games, how does certain Web3 games? Yeah. So Web3, I have been part of the Web3 journey since Ripple XRP days. I missed out on Bitcoin and Ethereum. I felt I missed out, but yeah, I started putting money in XRP in 2015 last quarter or 16 when I was in JP Morgan. And I started getting excited about blockchain. What I really enjoyed to think and imagine was here, if I could use the game of PUBG Mobile, I could use the gun of PUBG Mobile inside a Call of Duty map or assets across the games, which is very, very difficult. Or maybe people are building games around it, but blockchain is definitely a cutting edge thing, which will be the thing for future. We use in Stan to on my power users, on my cohort of users who are very matured, we help them get into collectibles. We basically try to extract more value, LTV and ARPU from our existing user base using blockchain. So yeah, how long did sorry, I will go back. Yeah, is gaming industry, who is more important, publisher or investor? If both, why? I think it's a choice which you have to take. If you just need somebody to finance your marketing and stuff, publisher would be fine. If you need partners who can grow you with capital and you want to do your marketing on your own and stuff, I think you need to choose investor. So that's basically what the difference is. How long did it take you to get to your first investor? How much money did you spend until that point, and how much did the investor give you, if you don't mind sharing? So Shorish, I can tell you my first check. I quit JP Morgan and I raised about a 40 lakhs. And usually the first check is on myself, on Parth, on you, on yourself. They should know you. They should really care. This is the angel check which I'm talking about. Nobody knew me. I was not from a tier one college. I did not have that alumni connect. So it was very difficult raising. So it took me about 2 months or 3 months, which is actually a short time, but it can take longer. It can take shorter. Totally depends on situation. There are a lot of macros and micros which actually control the time of your first check. It might be wrong time for the industry. It might be wrong time for the type of product. So it totally depends. What about single player? I don't know, man. I'm more community guy. I'm more social guy. So I like multiplayer. But single players are amazing in a strategy, maybe. So if it's a good game, you get engrossed, you keep playing, then it's fun. How do you get to balance right when trying to convey the USP? How do you choose? What all do you put in the deck? What to leave for the person What does the PPT gets point across doesn't feel document full text? Amazing question, Jen. I think a good construct of a presentation is important. Imtiaz was telling that he's going to have a session on that. So covering those main bullet points like who are you, what is your team, what are you building, how much, what kind of business will you make, how much are you looking to raise? These are certain 5-6 questions which have to be there. Beyond that, I think you can tell the guy that, I can get on a call, or maybe in the next call I can share more. So what practice we used to do and we are still doing is we have one small deck, one large deck. Small deck is just to excite and just to get the call, which is probably used for cold reaching. The detailed deck is mainly if there is a call, or if after the call they want the deck. And there is additional slides which I do for, let's say, somebody doesn't know about the industry, somebody doesn't know about competitors. So there's a lot of information. So your question is very apt. So people have tried and tested different ways to do it, but this is what I have used in my life. You mean go to market strategy?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I saw this market cap. And
2 slides on that in my last deck. Yeah, it is. I really actually, it was a storytelling sort of deck. So it might not work for all of you, but chose a guy named Avinash and just painted Avinash's life in 2 slides, before Stan, after Stan. So that is something which I did in my, early rounds, and it has worked good. So that if that's also a way to kind of, show, Avinash is a guy who is 21 years old, playing in the city, Meerut in UP. He likes to play on mobile phone. He spends 7 hours a week on games. ऐसे कुछ करके I created what is life before Stan and after Stan, and it's fun to have that maybe. But like I said, it's very subjective. It might work, it might not work. See, if I tell you I am uh, pulling users, or maybe my users are sitting on WhatsApp, Telegram, Discord, Instagram DMs at times. So these are the guys who are sitting here and there, but majority, the gaming cohort, if they are talking about games, if they are playing games, if they want to make friends, that's the category. Yeah.
so I will go and find that server.
Community platform. So you will have सीधे मौत का म्यूजिक सर्वर, you will have फिजिक्स वाला का एडटेक सर्वर, you will have Jonathan Mortal Scout का BGMI सर्वर, है ना? That is Discord. But for gaming, it is hanging out together and playing together. You are very right. So with Stan, we are solving. So we felt 3-4 pieces missed on Discord, which is, first is it was not very mobile friendly. Even my team did not, had struggled to use this.
Srivastava, can we have?
We can do later.
Also,
we can do later. Yeah, we should stick
can
to
we
the
have
questions.
others to also address the questions,
We are
please?
developing a game, and we have a prototype, a pitch deck, and some meetings launch. So we know what to do once we get a publisher. But what do we do if you don't? I didn't get the question, Anirudh, but what do we do if you don't? I have to see. I didn't get the question. VCs ask about pre-launch KPIs. What specific KPIs are they interested in? I think, see, pre-launch, they look at understanding you, your team, and how clear you are with your business model. So they would want to understand, at least you understand the KPIs. If it's a platform, you should understand DAU, MAU, LTV, CAC. They would want a Excel to at least see here, how will you track and what are you projecting for the next 1 year? That is predominantly the KPIs they're interested in. But majorly, the very first check pre-launch is on you, your story, your team. So that's what has been the main stuff. We're trying to fundraise for my game. Should I detail each and every expenditure? Just a certain amount, let's say 6 months. Yeah, I think you don't need to detail out on every spend you want to do. Just summary is something which they want to read. After 1 or 2 calls, if they are interested in getting a depth of everything, double click on it and send it across. That's, I think, certain which I follow. Right now, we are developing a game called Colony, and we listed it on Steam Hype for a game only in our YT community followers. So only how can we expose ourselves? We'll talk later. Stan can definitely help you. What are your views on VR, AR, MR industries? We are studio making VR, MR games. It's very hard to get support and play testing in India. VCs are also long short because most of them are investing in mobile. See, VCs typically want to invest in things which are working or which have worked in other geographies and not working here or might work. So they typically invest in a proven model, but some of them really write very risky checks as well. So I believe VR AR is a category which is still yet to blow up, like come out, but it's a very interesting technology.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, Kunal, I will just finish
Kunal,
answer.
Would you
Yeah,
like
sure.
to post your question onto the chat instead
Yeah.
of
So,
Yeah, actually, so question was missed. I was informing
oh,
that.
sorry.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, fine. We'll
I'll
go.
just cover
Thanks
it.
for
I'll just
recalling.
cover
Yeah.
it back. So
Yeah,
AR
okay.
VR is, I think, it's a deep tech sort of place. So if you want to be the best guy in the category, then you should start looking at raising capital. Like they would want to just fund maybe the top one or two, three guys. So that's what my thesis are. Could be a wrong thing. I'll just go and see
So,
Kunal's
Parth,
question.
Kunal's question was, how is pitching to publishers different from pitching to investors? Thanks for the question, Kunal. Yeah.
Yeah. Investors are looking to invest capital and make 100 200x out of it and cash out. That's the pure intention. Publishers look to make money while they want to utilize their existing network through marketing and content creation. So they have this entire gamut of things which they want to open up for you to get your games to distribution. So they are more like partners, more close partners. So pitching would involve them to know that how kick-ass is your product. Maybe go in depth about your product more with the publishers, because they want to look at all the nuances and nitty-gritties of the product, because they will be looking at using that to market it, to distribute it. So they want to build confidence in your thing. Whereas in investors, if you want to build confidence in the business plan, that's also enough. कि यार X डाल के Y बनेगा, it's clear enough, so they will be clear about it.
So, Parth, I'll go over a few questions, and so that will help you. So, one of the questions was from Deepinder. Before that, I have this one question.
Yeah.
That how important is the relationship? Like, at the end of the day, they're believing in a human, right? Investors.
Yeah.
So, how important it is to demonstrate that the relationship has the trust and faith, and can you elaborate that a little bit?
I think in the early days, it matters a lot. In the early checks, it matters. Like referrals work the best to raise capital. I think you have seen it and I have learned from it. That is why I called network is net worth. So if somebody calls and says, Parth is an amazing guy, I know him from 4 years, you should look at what he's doing. That is the connect, which, relationship which you start off with. In person is definitely important. I feel today after COVID, I think if you are a face, if you are somebody who can sell more than just with a Zoom call, you should go and meet, because meeting brings more questions, more answers, more clarity. A whiteboard sometimes helps a lot. So relationship उस time पे बहुत ज़्यादा trigger हो जाता है. So, but in the later stages, relationships are all business numbers. Like
Understood.
the moment you hit your product market fit, it's more about यार कैसे कर रहे हो, क्या कर रहे हो, or how can we help you. And at times you don't need botherance from your investor also. You are the best founder if you don't need beyond capital. But whenever you need it, just send a message or mail. I often do that with my quarterly updates. I send that one line that, hey, this is something I could need from you guys. And if he's there on WhatsApp and call, just next take a call.
Sure.
Yeah.
So Deepinder had this question called, if a game that is being built, it's very unique and there is no competitor, and there is no slide to put in onto the deck. So how would that how do investors react to it?
Two type of investors depend. I mean, for everyone, one is who really understands gaming industry and games. The other is who does not understand. So पहला question तो ये आपको समझना है कि who are you pitching to, because both people have different pitch. I did not cover this in my slides, but sometimes 50% of the pitch has to be according to the person you are talking to. So, for example, if I'm talking to somebody who understands games, he understands that it's a hit and run business. So, if you come to him with a brilliant idea, he would invest on the basis of your past on your team, on your credentials, on the idea or story you want to build on, even if it is not existing today in the market. They will really like you, they will put the risky check. But if he's a guy who does not understand gaming, पहले तो उसको convince करना पड़ेगा कि game में पैसा क्यों लगाना है, why he should be putting in money, because typically they think that it is going to be like a movie, either it's going to be a big hit or it's going to be a flop. So there's no, middle ground in time in the with respect to a game. So yeah, that's my answer.
Thanks.
The other question, I guess Sorish asked this before, but again, I think the question was primarily, do we connect with more Indian investor publishers, or do we go beyond India?
Just go and propose to all the girls in your college. That's my answer. Just look at who can take that risky bet and who can be the great partner. Why do you want to stop yourself to an Indian only? That would be my approach. But some of them really look at कि मैं बस India से पैसे लूंगा, and that's one ways to do it.
Great. So there is one question. I think we'll take two more questions and then we'll sign off. And by the way, Parth's gonna be at IGDC, guys. So he'll be there and his team gonna be there. So feel free to reach out to him on LinkedIn, or if IGDC would have that meet to match thing. So try to connect through that and have your slot booked with him if you would like to take more. And what is important for all the founders like us is to get some mentorship done, have some mentors around, someone who has already done it, get some guidance from them. So I would highly recommend you to meet Parth. I think Digvijay had this question, even though my company isn't registered yet and lacks a formal valuation, how can I reassure investors about potential equity dilution? So looks like that the company is not registered yet. And if he's what do you suggest, when we start talking to investors, when a lot of us might not have company registered by then, right? So
I registered my company in like 7,000-8,000 rupees. I remember my first company, I did use this thing called vakilsearch.com. Whether it works or not now, I don't know. But I feel ki when you have registered play, when you have things, then they start feeling that you are already got your hands dirty. Because sometimes it's just a deck कि मैं register करूँगा, मैं company खोलूँगा. तो some of them at least get that back in their head कि यार अभी तो ये sure नहीं है, ये कैसे करेगा, so getting the registration done, अब बंद कर देना यार, खोल के, मतलब नहीं चला तो बंद कर देना. It's like a business only.
Yeah. We'll take this last question. Aman Bhola is having this. I'm making a game and my vision is very clear. What I want to do, but due to lack of experience, I don't have an idea of how to move ahead. Like how should I approach investor and publisher, right? So this is a problem, right? A lot of passionate founders, like they have this brilliant idea, they really want to work on it. It's just that they don't have the, hey, never did this before. How should we approach and talk? So
I have been like that. I have been that guy who's always excited about idea and keep kuch to hai, like it can work out. So I think the best approach is to use platforms like IGDC. I mean, talk to people, come and meet people, tell them. And some of these people, I mean, I also was scared that the moment I give out my idea, it will be lost. But nothing like that happens. Matlab, execution is what will make you a different, to take success, right? So just throw your idea to random people, ask them the questions, try to create a variety of people you want to meet with. So one practice which I do today also is 2025 ka list I have with me ki the people I want to meet or talk to. So I think that is something which has worked wonders. Like this could be an Epic Games ka CEO, this could be like this guy, that guy, and just try to find कि वो कहाँ जा रहा है, क्या कर रहा है, and maybe just meet him. Sometimes when we are curious, we don't have answers. Meeting people and talking and sharing, getting those mentorship is something which gives me the answer. And read blogs, read how other projects have worked well, spend so much time on what is working, what is not working. I think these are the things, and then keep building it. I think then
yeah, I agree, Parth, 100%. Like I always advise all this young founders and also my nieces and nephews, you need to be shameless in terms of approaching, right? And do not hesitate. Go and talk, even if it's like a big shot, go and talk to them. They don't mind. They don't mind, right?
Nobody minds. And just show you are different, and then they like you. Shorish is asking, How do you choose people you want to meet? I think you make bad choices. So in the first 20 minutes, you will understand कि इससे मिलना बेकार है. So just don't spend too much time with that guy and just move on. I think that's what my learnings have been.
Sure.
You don't.
One question from one of our friends is that, hey, how do you see Stan going from here? Is it like you're gonna be an IPO or an M&A, or how do
You
you see
want
it?
to be in every gamer's phone. That is what I'm imagining. How the exit is going to look like is something which time will tell. I think that is the answer I would want to put. Ki everybody having Stan in their phone for gaming. Yeah.
Guys, that was the last question. I would like to, put out a small note to all my, fellow founders here. And I think Parth will also endorse this. Have a clear agenda in mind, what you want to have an outcome from this event, right? Saying that, hey, you know what, I want to at least have like 10 good meetings and 10, maybe 5 investors or 5 potential publishers and all. Have that agenda and then make a bigger funnel. To do that, I might like to do like 100 meetings, right? So go after
Right.
that, and that is how we can accomplish. So that would be a piece of advice from all, someone who has done this. And we before closing this, like I said, Parth gonna be there at the at the event. So please feel free to reach out to him through LinkedIn or Meet Match tool that's gonna come out. And the other thing is that we're going to have a couple of other master classes that I talked about. One is going to be on the legal side of things, and the other is preparing the pitch deck. So thank you so much, Parth. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. Thank you so much. Those questions were really good. I'm sorry we could not take all the questions, but I think IGDC going to be really, really exciting for all of us. Parth, do you have any sign-off comments?
No, I think this was great. Hope it was helpful for people who joined in. I don't like to be part of such gyan things, but when you asked me, I felt one of that founder who is maybe listening to this, because हमें भी एक question के answers चाहिए थे, and I hope it turned out well. But kudos to you guys. You guys are doing amazing with IGDC. Looking forward to seeing you all.
Thank you so much, guys. Great. Thank you so much, everyone.